What's going on, guys? It's Brett Pro Angel here, bringing you today another deck profile. So the ban list is finally here for March 15th of 2021. Everybody thinks Drytron is going to be dead, but I beg to differ. So without further ado, we're just going to dive into the deck profile. We, of course, run 3 Alpha. Alpha Thuban, the fact that all the Drytrons are still at 3 just makes this deck incredible as it is. So, yeah, Alpha is a very important staple. Next, we run 3 Zeta. Zeta is equally as important as Alpha, especially now, because you have to be able to get access to the ritual spell. And then next, I made a couple changes. We run 3 Gamma now. The reason why I run 3 Gamma is because before, the way this deck was in the past with Benton, you would just abuse Benton. Gamma is such an important card to this deck now because it ensures you could just link climb, you can just keep comboing, you can just play through hand traps. Gamma just ensures. And also, not to mention, since we don't have Union Carrier to get Dawn Knight to the graveyard, to send this, we can actually just hard open this, or we could use our Foolish Burial for this. And then, of course, we run 1 Delta. I don't think you really need any more than 1 of Delta. It's a really solid card just for a free draw, but half the time it's not 100% necessary unless it's for another name. All right, and some of you guys might not like it. Some will probably love it, but we run 1 Perfection and 1 Alti Boy. Some might ask, why in the heck do you need both? Okay, to start, I'm finally off the ruler build. I've been such a big fan of Vanity's ruler. And, some might say, well, ultimateness is enough. I say no, because now we're down 2 ritual monsters for our searches. How can we +1 off of Alpha if we already run through all our rituals on our first turn? Like the Herald of Perfection, this is also searchable off Preparation of Rites, which we just included to the deck. These cards are just so good. And then, of course, 1 Benton and 1 Natasha. This still works. It still works just as good as it did before. Natasha still wins you games. So, don't downplay these cards for a second just because Benton's at 1. They're still very powerful. And then we got our Fairies. I run 2 Manju and then also Petite and Eva. Okay, they all serve a similar purpose. Manju and Petite do anyway. I upped Manju to 2 because this is the most important search off your Benton. In this new Drytron deck, the way it should be played now, Manju is literally the card you want to search off Benton, because this is going to either get you to your ritual spell or it's going to get you to Herald of Perfection. So I meant Ultimatus, but Ultimatus comes up more than Perfection, but Perfection comes up the deck is really consistent, but worst case scenario, it's a ritual monster and it's another negation, Omni Negate, that you can just put up. Petite, I wouldn't run any more than 1 of Petite. I thought about running 2, but then I realized, half the time when I have Petite on the field, I'm just like, man, it's a level 2. Like, I wish that was a Manju. So I'd rather run 2 Manju over 2 Petite. Then, of course, we run the hand traps, 3 Herald of the Ultimate, or Herald of Orange Light. Herald of Orange Light this card alone just ensures that you can play through hand traps. This is your security against every deck in the format, against hand traps, everything. And then, of course, I still think it's important to run 3 Lancia. There's going to be all kinds of graveyard-dependent decks running around. We still have Bird Up that's still really good. We have, like Orcus is out there. Dinos, not to mention. Virtual World's still going to be a very viable deck. Lancia is probably one of the most important hand traps of this coming format, in my opinion. I'm just calling it now. And then another high-impact hand trap. We run 3 Nibiru. Okay, people might not like Nib. I honestly think we're running into a format where it's going to be very combo heavy. I don't think it's going to be control based. Nib is just going to come up so much. And then we run 3 Novas. The fact that Drytron has literally an E-Telly at 3, basically. Like, come on, guys. This deck is not dead. Like, the deck is just so overwhelming, powerful. And also, not to mention 2 Fafnir. I only choose to run 2 because there's not enough space to run a 3rd. Like, 2 Fafnir is so important. This is literally a Rhoda for your E-Telly. Like, it's just so dumb. It makes the deck so consistent, or you could get the ritual spell. And then we got 2 preparation of rites. This is so important now because with Ben 10 being at 1, this basically serves as another Ben 10, or if it doesn't pop up in that situation, it's a win more card. So yeah, like it's necessary now, but before it wasn't really necessary. You didn't have the space for it because Ben 10 was so easy to access. Next, I run 2 Pot of Prosperity. This card just wins you games, like flat out. That's all I really need to say. I wouldn't run 3 because you really need your extra deck. So if you draw 2 of these, it's kind of sucks. But yeah, I think 2 is very good, especially going second to see your hand traps. And then I run 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Meteonis Drytron, 1 Instant Fusion, and then 1 Called by the Grave. Just to explain these a little bit, we don't have Dawn Knight, so Foolish Burial is going to serve for the Dawn Knight. This is our new Dawn Knight. We also run 3 Gammas, so it's very likely for us to see Gamma. Meteonis Drytron, I still think it's necessary at 1. Instant Fusion is very important because the way the deck is now, it used to search Herald on one of its first Ben 10 searches to ensure that you play through hand traps. Well, we can't necessarily do that anymore. So we need Instant Fusion and we need Called by the Grave to ensure that we can just play through hand traps. All right, on to the extra deck. We got the Weenies. We got Link Karibo. We got Relinquished Anima. We got Herald of the Mirage Light. We also have IP of the Masquerena. These cards are so important. You might wonder why I'm running Anima. The main reason you run Anima is because it does come up where you need these 2 to make this guy right here. Okay, this is actually probably the most important card out of the whole Weenie monster extra deck. Like, IP just ensures that you can go into a boss monster and make it indestructible after you've already used your Herald of the Ultimateness. This deck ends on IP, Herald of the Ultimateness, and Link Karibo very consistently with Eva in hand. And then we run our Nightmare package. We got 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn. I think these are very important, just utility cards. Phoenix, just a standard Link 2 that just allows you to pop back row. Unicorn, you Link climb with this to go into Access Code Talker. And then our bosses have slightly changed. We run 1 Appaloosa, 1 Access Code, and 1 Boral Sword. The reason why I actually put Appaloosa back in is because the way the deck is now, if you get hand trapped, you could still end on an Appaloosa of 3, or it's very common to have an Ultimateness and then an IP with a Link Karibo and another Drytron on your field as well, and you can just use that IP on your opponent's turn to make an Appaloosa for 3 with the Ultimateness still on the field. That's just so powerful. Access Code just ensures you win the game. Boral Sword is just like your OTK. All right, on to the XZs. We run 5. So obviously we need 2 Zeus. I run 1 Nightingale, 1 Fucho, and 1 Downard, okay? These 2 cards just get you here. Like, it came up so many times where I would just go Nightingale, bam, bam, do whatever. Late game, they get over my Zeus, and then I just go Fucho attack, and I just bring out my last Zeus, clean up the board. And then, the last but not least, we can't forget about our Millennium Eyes Restrict. This card, intertwined with Instant Fusion, is just so good. This just ensures that you play through hand traps. If they draw you, you just don't lose to it. If they ash you, you don't lose to it. The only thing that really hurts is Nib. But the way the deck is now, you're not doing that many summons. So yeah, that goes for the deck profile.